Hey, if you're just tuning in, this is the Cabana Hour. I'm Kevin, and you're watching Just a Wrenching. Before we get started with cleaning up our heads, I have something to show you. Pick this big thing up, $129. Yep, you guessed it right. It is the Craftsman Trade Stack. No sponsor there, but oops, sorry. I needed something better because let me show you real quick. My old toolbox, all I have is this box and this tray here. Some of my tools are kind of rusty, so yeah, I got, I've had this for a lot of years. This one, I think is also, it's either Black & Decker or it's a Craftsman. I can't remember. But it came with compartments and stuff. Over the years, as you can see, I'm got some tools up there, over here. I'm running out of space, so I picked this beauty up for $129, and all it does is comes apart in 3 compartments. You ever want to pick one of these up? I suggest you do that. I would highly recommend picking one up. Inside you get about 6 of these compartments for screws, nails, whatever, and it's basically a loose compartment. They all clip together. The next one down is a little bit bigger than the last. There we go. And this compartment is a little bit bigger, as you can see, and it's got a tray on either side, in the middle, your preference, but it's pretty deep. Exactly what I need all around. All my tools. I got way too many. This one here also has a tray. You can see it's got a tray for your wrenches, and it's deeper, and this bottom one is deeper yet. So the best part about this is it comes with a little tray. And of course, this whole thing comes on wheels. This thing is all on wheels. You can haul it around. I think this is going to make a new addition to my tool storage. I love it already. I just haven't gotten around to cleaning the tools and putting them in there and organizing them. So I think what we're going to be doing is I'll show you what I'm going to be using to clean the heads with on this 06 Torrent that you see right there. I'm at the point where I need to clean up the heads. I tested them out, made sure they didn't leak. So let me get some. So basically, I'm going to be using some of this Berryman, no sponsor there, of course. It's a Chem Dip carburetor parts cleaner. Of course, I'm probably going to stick my heads up in here in this thing, and we will start with the first head. As you can see, the combustion cylinders don't look too bad, but I'm going to be using some of that stuff on here. I would say that I'm going to be getting some in there or on there, and I'm going to let it kind of soak for at least 30 minutes, and then I'll use a toothbrush to break some of that free. I'm going to leave the spark plugs in there so we can get those. Alright, I have my bag of stuff in there somewhere. Okay, I just went to the local store and I picked up some toothbrushes. Well, they're gonna be used to break up most of this, and then we can scrape the surface and sand it down and all that. That'll be next video. So let's open up our can. Yeah. All right. I've been putting this off. Let me get a different one. Well, it's getting colder, so it's been a few weeks. Right there. Yeah, that'll do. It's been a few weeks since last time I did anything with these heads or this vehicle, and it's getting colder out, and I wanted to get this done before winter, because besides the Impala, this is the only vehicle, this SUV is the only one that will make it up about 5 to 10% grade on the driveway. So I figure I should probably get going on this again, get everything cleaned and order my gaskets and get these parts back on the engine. So yep, definitely parts in there. Okay, let me angle these somehow. This alternator bracket's still on here. That should do good. We get something to pour into there. Find something. Hey, look at here. Got something. I'm gonna use this as a cup, and we're gonna pour a little bit in here. It's on an angle, so of course it's gonna go down that way. Not the straightest, but about 30 minutes or so of soak time. This will break up. You don't have to go crazy, just enough to start the process. Okay. Now that with that just poured on there, I'm gonna test and see how good this does. Just being on there for a few seconds. If you need be, if you got nylon brushes, or maybe there you go, look at that, that's breaking up quite a bit. Maybe you got some copper wire brushes. Oh yeah, they cleaned that one up really good. I'll get a towel here and wipe it a little bit. Yeah, dang. Holy crap. This is just from a few seconds. So, you can see it's pretty good stuff. So out of these heads, I would say this combustion chamber was kind of dirty. Not too bad, but to the point where you know it definitely needs cleaned. As you can see, this Chem Dip stuff goes to work right away. I was contemplating actually using it, but I think I'm going to be happy with the results. I might have to do more than one application, as in most cases, you'll have to do the same. These chambers ain't going to be the shiniest when you take your heads off. So I just want to get this a little bit agitated and really see how everything looks when it's clean. So yeah, it's just been sitting for a few minutes. You can tell that once this number 1 cylinder is pretty clean, getting clean. Some of the problematic areas, I might switch to copper brush. For this, hopefully you guys can see. Once these are all clean, I'll take a blow nozzle and blow out all the ports and everything, because when I start sanding, there's going to be a lot of tiny debris. So you want the smoothest surface you can. So that when you put these back on, these heads will be super flat to the block with the gasket. I was praying that there was nothing else majorly wrong with it, just besides it needed the gaskets changed because of the misfire. So, and I was relieved to know that that's pretty much all it needs is new gaskets. I'll have to do some new exhaust manifold bolts. So this stuff doesn't take very long to eat up, or not eat up, but break down oil. Stuff. I think, yeah, as you can see, it's doing pretty good. I'm just gonna give it a little more light soaking, and then leave it for about 30 minutes and come back. We'll see how it looks. Leave that sit on there about 30 minutes and we'll be back. It won't take very long for you. It'll be like I was never gone. Alright, welcome back. It's been about 30 minutes. I brought some brass brushes, a little bit more aggressive, not too much aggressive, but that's enough to get the carbon off. Take this lid off. The main thing I want to clean up here is just the surface. I don't care about anything else. I'm not pressing down too hard, just a nice light scrub. In circular motion. I'll do the same thing to the other head. I don't think I'll film it because I got to get going on this. So I'll show you just on this one. How exactly this chem dip does, and you can make your own call. You don't have to use chem dip. You can do something different. But on a 30-minute soak, I don't have to press very hard. It's coming off fairly easy. Excuse me. Brass is not really aggressive enough to gouge the surface, aggressive enough to take off what you need to take off. You know, as you can see, there's no scratches, there's no nicks, there's no dings. We'll get this carbon off and wipe her down. And we'll check it after we sand it. Small one for these valves. Get some of this carbon off. Spark plug. Some more towels. Just wipe as you go, use more chem dip, scrub some more. You can tell that there's already a big improvement on these valves and inside this combustion chamber. from what it used to be. It's getting better and better. I'll have to do more applications so I can get it back to looking like it did brand new. As you can see, the first soak did pretty good. Piece of my towel falling off. Most of the gasket material is coming off too, so if you don't want to spend hours and hours scraping off the gasket material, just use this method first, and then when you whittle it down to just a little bit, you can scrape and use Ken Dip to finish up. That one's pretty rough. This one's smooth. I bet just a few more applications will get it. The small ones are the intakes. The big ones, the exhaust. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about everything else, because, you know, once you get back on, it's pretty much going to be oily again on the top side where your springs are. Those need oil too. So, alright, we're going to do another soak. And the intake manifolds, I'll probably do a little bit on those surfaces. But the main thing is just the gasket surfaces. Not like maybe a little bit on the exhaust ports over here. So kind of, yeah, I'll do exhaust ports so we have nice straight and clean surface for our exhaust manifold gaskets. We'll get some new gaskets on these when we put the exhaust manifolds on. So yeah, that's basically, sorry. That's basically it. That's what I'm going to be doing. I will show you guys when they're all done So thanks for stopping by, checking out my channel. If you like what you see so far, don't be afraid to subscribe, and I got more content coming up. Seems like I'm always doing stuff around here, so yeah. We'll see you next time when these are all done. All right, I got an update for you. Thank you. Anyway, I spent about 2 hours on this last night. Got it to the point where I think I'm ready to sand. That took some doing, let me tell you. It's to the point where I can sand it and check it for clearance and make sure it's all straight. So there's still some black discoloration on it, but that'll come off when I sand. So yeah, I got most of the carbon out of the combustion chambers. So I was wrong yesterday when I told you this is intake, this is exhaust. I was wrong. No, that's right, intake, exhaust. So on some of these, the exhaust valves have the most carbon. That's where you're gonna see it's typical, because you know it's letting out all that carbon. So here's the other head, and pretty much that head looked pretty much like this one before I started with the chem dip. So I did not use razor blade or anything on it. I just took it and went right to scrubbing. This one looks maybe a tiny bit dirtier, so we'll see how the chem dip does. Today I did work on that head a little bit. I attached brass brush to the drills, and I got this round one over here, this flat round one. I attached it to my drill, and I got into some of these crevices with it. It did pretty good. So you can see it's pretty clean around the valves and whatnot. I may still scrub it. I brought over some nylon brushes. I got some nylon to kind of finish up in those creases, and we're ready to sand. I'll do the same on the intake ports as well, around the intake gaskets, and of course the exhaust gaskets. So yeah, I kept my spark plugs in to protect the threads from the cleaner. I'm definitely probably going to change spark plugs because the firing tip kind of melted away on some of these, which is okay. I mean, I can put some new spark plugs in, but other than that, that wire brush did wonders, and everything's smooth. There's no gouges. You'll see if you ever have a combination of the flat or the round. Use that on your heads. It's totally fine. You'll see some swirl marks, but damn it. Sorry. Get in there. You'll see some swirl marks, but that'll all come off when you sand, because you're gonna sand back and forth, never side to side, because you're gonna take off more on one side than the other. So you gotta lay it on the whole surface. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just a little update for you. About 2 hours, and then maybe about 20 minutes with those brushes. And that one's pretty much ready to sand. This one's gonna take some doing. So that's the front head. These spark plugs look the same also on this side, where they're whittled down. I don't think that's how they're supposed to be, but either way, I'm gonna change them out. Get this all cleaned up and we'll put it back in. The block, however, you guys saw the block. I'm gonna need to clean. This will be the last thing I clean before I put the heads on, because I have to rotate this around to line up my marks, the timing marks, so I can reattach the heads. I gotta shop around to maybe do some new lifters and rods. We'll put those new stuff in. Hopefully we'll have this ready before winter. It's the middle of friggin' November. It's gonna start snowing soon. I gotta find some bolts for the exhaust manifolds. So there's your update. I saw the kitty. He's over there lying on the mower. Say hi, kitty. Say hi, kitty. No. Wade. No, not gonna say hi. He's a big cat. Anyway, we'll see. Alright, last update before I do a video on the sanding. As you can see, this was the back side head that I did. This, I got it to where it's ready to sand now. The exhaust ports and the intake ports are all clean. So this is the back side, and I did the front side. I cleaned it. It took about the same amount of time. So as you can see, it's pretty darn near machine finish, but the sanding is gonna really get it to that shiny metal. I might start with 60 grit for a few passes, and we'll see how that goes. 60 grit will take care of some of these indentions from the gasket around the edges, and it will knock it down just enough to be flat. I've checked these already. They don't seem like they're warped at all, but that's okay. We'll do 60 grit for just a few passes, and we'll go up from there. all the way up until we get to the finish grit, and we'll be done. As far as cleaning, the Chem Dip did pretty good. I only let it set 30 minutes. I poured Chem Dip over the whole surface and then filled up each combustion chamber and let it set for 30 minutes, and then I took that bad boy and I just went to town inside and on the surface, and it took off a bunch. I did that twice, and then for the final one I only had to fill the combustion chamber, and then I switched to the nylon. I did the nylon brushes, and also I did some of the Whizzy Wheel, the flat brass versus the round. A little bit though from this. A lot of times I would have it dry and then I would work on it with this, the round brass, especially on the exhaust and the intakes. I barely had to let it soak with the Chem Dip. I used a brush and applied it and let it set maybe 10 minutes, and then I would use this brush. So, and then if besides the gasket surfaces, I just kind of brushed up on the ends with the brushes, so I wasn't too worried about it. I'm only gonna do the gasket surfaces. So the next video you will see is of the sanding process. So far this project's going pretty smoothly, except for the broken bolts. I gotta order me some new bolts, and then I'll clean up the surfaces on the manifolds. As you can tell, they're kind of dirty. They are kind of crusty. So I'll do that before I put those back on. And this one's the rear manifold that goes into the straight into the catalytic converter, and then it's just a matter of putting all these back on. I'll probably change out the rods and the lifters. I got all the lifters still. I don't see anything wrong with them. There's no scarring. They all move. They're roller rockers. So let me focus. They all turn beautifully. They still got oil. I don't know. I'm at a little bit of a junction with exactly what I want to do. They all look fine. They don't look bad. It's probably best if I change those out. Just put new lifters, rods, maybe rockers. Put some new rockers on it. Rocker arms. Those things down there are rocker arms. I got the front side and then the back side. So that's it. We'll see you in the next video, folks.